flag and to the republic. A republic is the people are king ruling through representatives. And so when you're pledging allegiance to the flag, you're basically pledging allegiance to you being in charge of yourself under God. And so when somebody dishonors the flag, what they're saying is, I don't want to be the king anymore. It's like, okay, somebody else is going to rule your life. And so John Jay was the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He says, the people are the sovereign of this country. Gouverneur Morris signed the Declaration. He says, the magistrate is not the king. The people are the king. Thomas Jefferson says, the Supreme Court justice says there must be an ultimate arbiter, decider, somewhere. True, there must. The ultimate arbiter is the people. Lincoln said, the people of this country are the rightful masters of both Congresses and courts. I could go on and on. Grover Cleveland said, the sovereignty of 60 millions of free people is the working out of the divine right of man to rule himself. And so Teddy Roosevelt says, in no other place and at no other time has the experiment of government of the people, by the people, and for the people been tried on so vast a scale as here in our own country. And so out of these 6,000 years of world history and this gravitational pull for power to go into the hands of one person, our founders flipped it, and all the Constitution is a bunch of hurdles to prevent the rubber band from snapping back into the hands of a king. They separate the power into three branches. They separate it federal to state level. They tie up this federal Frankenstein with 10 handcuffs called the First 10 Amendments. Right? It's just a bunch of hurdles to prevent this rubber band from snapping back. Unfortunately, there are philosophers in history that have noticed that in times of crises, people are willing to give up their freedoms. So Machiavelli and Hegel and Karl Marx and Saul Alinsky, so what do they teach? They teach to intentionally create crises so that people will surrender their freedoms and the rubber band can snap back into the hands of a dictator. 45 countries dealt with communism this way. They would send in agitators, agent provocateurs, community organizers, labor organizers. Their goal is to find the grievances in a society and stir them up and fan them until there's outbreaks of random violence and bloodshed and mobs in the street. And in the confusion, everybody is willing to surrender their freedom to somebody that promises to fix it. And this person sends their militarized police down the street. They go house to house and collect everybody's guns. And yeah, they restore order. But when the dust settles, you'll have fundamentally transformed your country from the people ruling from the bottom up to the king ruling from the top down. A polarity change. And we were this close to having this take place in America. I personally feel like we've gotten a reprieve from that agenda with this recent election, but those forces are still there. It's a gravitational force that's sort of embedded in human nature. And we need to really, I was talking to some of the people on the Trump transition team, and it's this idea, take the opportunity to dismantle some of these federal agencies. It was Jimmy Carter that I think developed the Department of Education, and Reagan. I was at an event, and they were honoring Bill Bennett. He's a great person, a great man. He's brilliant, but they showed a clip of Ronald Reagan introducing Bill Bennett to the staff, and he says, when I was running for president, I said that I wanted to abolish the Department of Education, but then I met Bill Bennett. And, it goes on to say, and everybody claps, and it's like, wait a second. He should have abolished the Department of Education. We wouldn't have to worry about Common Core.
I remember. I remember Bill Bennett telling
that had No Child Left Behind. Clinton had outcome-based education. And it's all this attitude of, hey, I'm in charge of it, and so let's do something good. It's like, let's just take the opportunity to disassemble this monster.
Bill, I remember Bill Bennett telling me once on air that he tried to get the budget for the Department of Education cut, and he couldn't do it because Congress wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah, and the dilemma is, and again, he's a tremendous person. I've read his books. I love his books. I recommend his books. He's a tremendous person. But once you get an establishment bureaucracy that is drawing their livelihood from the state, they have the strongest motivation to want to keep the state big because it's their job. And so you reach this tipping point where they just want to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and until finally at some point the there's not enough people to pay the taxes. And at this point, Obama doubled the debt. We're into the trillions, and we're barely paying the interest on the debt. And at some point in time, if the Saudis, if the petrodollar falls and oil is traded in something other than the U.S. dollar, our dollar will be useless. It'll fall through the floor. And
Bill,
because we're so in debt.
You're absolutely right. We're running out of time. You're going to be speaking again today at Grace Baptist?
Yes, at 4 o'clock.
At 4 o'clock. Okay, and that's right across in Belleville, right across the street from Johnny's on the Lake. If anybody's curious where that is, I highly recommend you go to hear Bill speak. And we really appreciate you having you on board today, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bill, let's make sure we get you back on again, even if you're not in town. We'll have you call in because this was enlightening. It's one of the shows where I actually learned something, many things, and I'm very impressed. So let's have you on again. I appreciate it.
I have a little less Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate it, and make sure you guys go out and see him tonight. Take care, Bill.
Well, thank you. If anyone's interested, my website's AmericanMinute.com, and I send out a free daily email.
Okay, AmericanMinute.com. Got it. All right, thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Oh, that was great. That was really informative. So we're going to have to have him on again.
I believe Wham's going to be hosting his American Minute spots.
Okay, good. Well, before we close out here, let me just say tonight I think I'm heading out to Burroughs Roadhouse in West Brighton, and that's 5311 Brighton Road. You can reach them at 810-227-6000. That's 810-227-6000. Come on out and have a drink with me, and they've got great food. They got great drinks. And they've got a Mother's Day special tomorrow, so you can call and make reservations, 810-227-6000, or you can go to the website, www.burroughs-roadhouse.com, burroughs-roadhouse.com. And it's a great place. Got the atmosphere. It's just a really cool place to have dinner and do some drinks. So check it out. I'll be out there tonight. Look for the guy with the alt-right haircut. That'll be me. I'm going to go home and cut my hair. I'm in a mood, So anything else you have?
No, I just would encourage anybody who has yet to buy a Mother's Day card for the mother in their life. Please do that before tomorrow. They're probably going to be picked over by then.
Yeah. And make sure you're going to thedailydrift.com.
Yep.
I work hard to put that up there for you every day. And there's a lot of really good information, especially if you're tired of the government and seeing all the nonsense that's going on. Educate yourself by listening to guys like Bill Federer on this show and listening to programs here at Wham Talk 1600 and going to thedailydrift.com.
For the news you need to know.
The news you need to know. And if you want to get in the current newspaper this month, call me, 734-629-6010. See you next week.